Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'd like to tell you about my dear friend, John Vincent. He taught me many things, but chief among them was how to say good morning with gusto. Now, John's story didn't begin good. It started more than 40 years ago when he became homeless at the age of 8. That's when he was cast out by his stepfather for the crime of being the blackest among his siblings. Decades later, by the time John and I crossed paths, after so many years on the streets, John was convinced that he would never find a place to call home. Anyone who suggested otherwise was, in his words, full of shit. It turns out John was wrong. John would indeed find a home. And when he did, for the first time in his life, he would experience being fully known and wholly loved. I'm Amber Fogarty, President and Chief Goodness Officer for Mobile Loaves and Fishes. We believe that the single greatest cause of homelessness is the profound, catastrophic loss of family. And we exist to heal that loss by welcoming our friends somewhere they always deserve to be, home. To us, home is more than just 4 walls and a roof. It is a place of permanence, a place where you can be loved and be who you were created to be. In my beloved city of Austin, Texas, we have 1,200 chronically homeless men and women, and it is our goal to bring them home. These folks are living on our street corners, under our bridges, and suffering in tents in the woods. The extent of the trauma they have experienced often takes my breath away. My friends have encountered every indignity, and after years of living on the streets, their sorrow is deep. At Mobile Loaves and Fishes, we are adamant that housing alone can't solve their homelessness, but we believe that community will. Let me tell you why. Mobile Loaves and Fishes started more than 20 years ago when 5 good-hearted guys loaded up in a minivan, which before long became a catering truck, and took sandwiches out on the streets. Over time, that truck led to friendships. Our new friends taught us that housing and home were not one and the same. They wanted to be among friends who understood their struggles. They longed to be part of a community. So 3 years ago, we opened Community First Village. It's an affordable, permanent home where our friends can heal from the ravages of life on the streets, surrounded by a supportive, loving community. They can come home and settle into community life and begin to trust and hope again. The power of this community isn't just for the men and women we've lifted up off the streets. It's a place where everyone is invited into a lifestyle of service with the homeless. We set a big banquet table, and we invite everyone to join us, to engage in transformative relationships, and to act from a place of love. Over the last 20 years, Mobile Loaves and Fishes has gone from serving 1 meal to 5.5 million meals. From an idea to a 51-acre master-planned community, from 1 microhome to 220, and from 5 volunteers in a minivan to 20+ thousand volunteers who have been empowered to serve goodness. And now communities across the country are starting to follow our lead. Folks from 24 states have attended our symposium to explore replicating the Community First Village in their own cities. And now, I'd like to come back to my friend John. As it turned out, we weren't full of shit. John did come home to the village, and over 2 years, he became a legend. Every volunteer was greeted by John's enthusiasm. But this past August, our dear friend, who at times seemed like the Energizer Bunny, lay still before us 10 days after suffering a major heart attack. Before long, he was preparing for the ultimate journey. I stood by John's bedside, holding his hand as he took his final breath, surrounded by love from friends who had become his family. In the end, after so much trauma, John experienced the kind of send-off every one of us deserves, moving from this life to the next, encircled in love and never to be forgotten. John believed every day would be a good one. He saw every day as an opportunity to act from a place of goodness, from a place of love. With each good morning, John offered us all a brand new chance to heal, help, and begin again. Every day, every good morning, all of us are offered another opportunity to serve goodness. We invite each of you into a lifestyle of service with the most battered, broken, lost, and forgotten neighbors in your community. Embrace the opportunity to connect, human to human, heart to heart. You will never be the same. Thank you.